Well, I do want to be respectful of Robin's time. Robin, this is going to be good for you because you'll be able to get one-on-one. But Robin, are you a student? Are you a parent?
Hi, I'm a parent.
Okay, great. What year is your child?
He's a junior this year.
Okay, great. And where are you guys based?
You said what? I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah, where are you guys like based, like located?
We're in Atlanta, Georgia.
Oh, nice. Awesome. Alrighty. Well, anyway, I will go ahead and get started because I do want to be respectful of your time. And this will be even better for you, Robin, because you have a wonderful admissions director here, Ruben Hernandez, and who's the admissions director from USC, so University of California, Southern California. But really briefly, so Top Tutors for Us, this is our Road to College webinar series. So we have one of these every single month. We This is just to help prepare students from all grade levels for that next step. So last month, in February, we had scholarships. March, we talked about college essay writing, college application essay writing. So just around those topics, and then we'll be talking about like FAFSA, all that other fun stuff that you need to know and your child needs to know to be the most successful in this process. So the rundown of show will be I'm just going to introduce myself and our platform, Top Tutors for Us, and then I'll turn it over to Ruben Hernandez, our guest speaker, and then feel free to just ask your questions. So, yeah. Yep. And this session is designed for both students and parents who want a more clear and more strategic understanding of the admissions process. Oh, wait, can you all see my screen? I don't think the students can see everyone can see my screen actually, because I have a message here. Um,
No, we can't see it.
okay, that's okay. Let me like reclaim host. Okay, now you should be able to see my screen. There we go. I think only the host could see it so far. Okay. So by the end of the session, you'll have a clear understanding of what student life at USC is really like, the holistic admissions process, extracurriculars, scholarships, and the above. So briefly about myself, I'm actually born and raised in New Orleans. I founded Top Tutors for Us when I was a college student at WashU. I had a successful college process at WashU. I was a triple degree graduate, finance and computer science undergrad, and a master's in computer science. However, before all of that, I had to take the ACT, and even though I was a straight A student, my score in 11th grade was a 16. So I was shocked. How could I just be such a strong student but struggle with testing? So I actually homeschooled myself that year and developed my own testing strategies and methodology. And actually, within 7 months, got my score up by 16 points with a 35 in math. And so, with that much higher test score, I was offered over $1.5 million in college scholarships. Yeah, so I founded Top Tutors for Us for students specifically who look like me can have that similar success. So Top Tutors for Us, we know the problem that Black students are at a disadvantage, and it's about giving these students an advantage by connecting them to culturally competent tutors. So our platform actually looks at over 50 different features between a student and tutor and makes a perfect match. So let's say we have an 11th grader, just throwing it out there from New Orleans public schools, aspires to attend college, loves basketball, needs support in the ACT, first generation student. He'll get paired with someone like Toby, who's a junior at Tulane, engineering major, also shares the same passion for basketball with a 33 on the ACT. So we have culturally competent test prep. Also, we build students' academic skills to get their scores up. And so, on average, our composite score we're getting students up is 6 on the ACT and over 200 points on the SAT. Top Tutors for us is used by over 30 school systems across the country, primarily in the New Orleans region and St. Louis, but we have students in other areas like in Atlanta and yeah. So anyway, going on to our topic for today, college decisions are more competitive than ever. Many students misunderstand holistic admissions, and this allows you to get a better insight to prepare. We know how key preparation, especially having that right information, so can put you ahead of the ball game. Like I said, I was offered $1.5 million in scholarships. And I was connected with a college admissions director between my early in my 11th grade year who literally gave me the whole playbook of what to do and how to prepare and set myself up for the best success. And I was really successful during the process. So anyway, I'm excited to pass it over to Ruben Hernandez from University of Southern California. USC is a top-ranked institution, one of the best in the world. Um, Strong programs in the arts. My brother went to USC. He was a filmmaker in the film school and just loved his experience. So, but yeah, I'm just gonna stop talking and Ruben, I'll pass it over to you. And I'll also pass over host access. Um, so thank you very much.
So thank you. Good evening, everyone. Just reintroducing myself. My name is Ruben Hernandez. I'm a senior assistant director of undergraduate admission out here at the University of Southern California. Just want to thank you all for taking your time this evening to attend this evening session. Just to give you an overview of kind of what I'm going to be talking about, I want to introduce you all to USC. I'm going to do a general sort of info session about USC, what our undergraduate student experience is like, what students, do on a kind of daily basis during their time at USC. I definitely want to talk about the holistic review process. And then I'll save some time for y'all to ask any questions that you have about USC, about admissions process, or about holistic review. I know some of you here are juniors, your parents, maybe you're going to be applying to schools, in the next couple of years. So, feel free, we could answer any questions you like towards the end of the presentation. Um, Now, some of you are already familiar with USC. Some of you may have visited campus before, or some of you might be learning about USC for the very first time. But to allow me to introduce USC to you all, USC, we are a large private tier one university right in the heart of Los Angeles. We have an enrollment of 46,000 students at USC. We're just 3 miles south of downtown LA. Now, USC is very much a large university in a large metropolitan area, essentially the heart of Los Angeles. I like to think that when a student comes to USC, they get this best of both worlds kind of experience. They get to come to a large, a fun, a vibrant university, but when it comes to the academics, it's still very much a personal academic feel. While our total enrollment is 46,000 students, now that total enrollment includes the graduate students, PhD students, law students. But when we look at specifically the undergraduate enrollment, that enrollment is 21,000 students, and the average class sizes are about 25, and that student faculty ratio is about 9 to 1. So give that students the opportunity to work really closely in smaller class sizes, work really closely with professors, and again, given that opportunity to take their academics, very seriously. We have over 150 different majors for students to choose from. Now, students can major in something in the cinematic arts. They can major something in engineering, in business, in communications, music, dance, kind of name it, USC has it. We have all of these various academic disciplines, academic fields that students can choose to major in. When we talk about the undergraduate experience, I'm going to be highlighting these five specific areas. Now, at some point, virtually throughout any point during a student's time at USC, they're going to have these opportunities for distinct learning experiences. There is going to be this sense of students are going to gain a global perspective from coming to USC. Um, Being in Los Angeles comes with its own benefits as well, right? Not just the fun things that come with living in LA, but the opportunity to have LA like as your playground, right? As a place for you to develop and grow into a young adult. We are a place where there's a vibrant campus life kind of pretty much 24/7. And I'll close by talking about our alumni network in our Trojan family. But first, I want to dive a little more deeper into what are these distinct learning experiences? What are these opportunities that students get to have? Well, first, I mentioned at the beginning of my presentation that USC is a research university. We are one of the leading research universities, private universities in the nation. Now, when I mention research, I'm sure some of you are automatically thinking chemistry, you're thinking of science, you're thinking of engineering. And while, yes, that research happens in those areas, what's also true at USC is that research happens across all of our majors, all of our academic disciplines. That includes music, that includes cinematic arts, that includes real estate, and includes business as well. And undergraduate students can get involved in research. Undergraduate students can get involved in research as early as their first semester at USC. While research is not a requirement for any one of our students, it's one of those hallmark experiences that a lot of our students want to take advantage of simply by being at one of the top leading research universities in the nation. I did mention that we have over 150 different majors and all of our various schools. So an example is, the business major is going to be housed in the Marshall School of Business. A student majoring in communications is going to be in the Annenberg School of Communications. Just because your major is in a specific college, that doesn't mean you're taking classes only within that college, right? Or you're only going to be taking classes with other engineering and business majors. At USC, all of our schools, all of our majors, they share the same general education curriculum, giving students the flexibility to explore other academic interests, giving them the opportunity to double major or minor in fields of completely different academic disciplines. We actually refer to these students at USC as Renaissance Scholars. And about one third of our students are double majoring. And as I mentioned, they are also double majoring in things that are from completely different academic disciplines. All of our classes are taught by faculty. As I mentioned earlier, our class sizes are about 25. You may have some class sizes that are going to be a bit larger than that, but for the most part, they're going to be very manageable class sizes where you can work closely with other students, and really work closely with other professors as well. I want to give like a quick example of research opportunities at USC. We have two programs. They're called SOAR and SURF. These are programs that connect our undergraduate students with professors to do hands-on research. Now that hands-on research can be, in labs, it could be off-site, it can be kind of depend where it is. One of our off-site examples is USC owns a research facility on Catalina Island. If you're not familiar with Catalina Island, it's an island just off the coast of out here in LA. We have a research facility and a program where students get to live on Catalina Island for 4 weeks and doing hands-on research over the summer. So our students, when it comes to research, it's not just something that they're watching professors do, it's something that they are themselves doing very much hands-on. And when it comes to the global perspective, while we are the University of Southern California, most of our students are not coming from California. Something like 42% of our students are coming from California. Our student body is a diverse student body. not just racially or ethnically, but students are coming from all over the world, different socioeconomic backgrounds, different religious beliefs, political beliefs. And all of this, in my opinion, is going to enhance your undergraduate experience because it's going to allow you to learn from other people as well, learn and connect from people who have different backgrounds, different lived experiences than us. But obviously, the best way to get that global perspective is by participating in any one of our study abroad programs. We have abroad programs that last a semester. We have some that are faculty led. It just kind of depends what you'd like to do. At USC, we also have various alumni offices in different countries. So, like Mexico City, we have some in Shanghai, we have some in Hong Kong. This further gives students opportunities to study abroad in these places, to do service learning trips, or even internships as well. A couple study abroad programs I know off the top of my head. I know like the School of Architecture, they have an abroad program that is like specific for their students, where they take them to Northern Africa and Italy to study architecture. I know of another program. This is more of a domestic faculty-led program. This was a program. It's called book packing. And it was a 4 week trip over the summer to New Orleans. And instead of like backpacking through New Orleans, what this program entails is learning about the history, the culture, the development of New Orleans through the lens of literature, of novels. So this program, students were going to read various books, various novels, and then like spend their time in New Orleans connecting those novels to the history and the development of the city of New Orleans, which I thought was a really cool program because it allows those students to study abroad, but also like learn from places that we have here in the States and not have to necessarily have that abroad, have to go abroad. Then you get to come to school in Los Angeles. I was born in Los Angeles. I'm gonna be that annoying Los Angeles guy, and I'm gonna say, Los Angeles is the greatest city in the entire world, and we have the greatest weather, we have the best food. Like for us, coming from Los Angeles, it's the best place to be. And from my experience, I love living in Los Angeles. It's a great playground to be. I'm a huge foodie, tons of great food and great restaurants in Los Angeles. Given that USC is in such a central location, it makes it really easy to get in and around the city. We have three train stops just across the street from campus. You can jump on a train and be at Santa Monica Beach in about 30 minutes. You can jump on another train, be in downtown Los Angeles, or out into Silicon Beach, which is where we refer to, where we have a lot of our tech companies, all of our startups. It's the entertainment capital of the world. Los Angeles is a global and economic hub for a lot of industries and career fields. Um, but it's also a great opportunity for students to develop professionally. Um, Coming to school in Los Angeles means you have opportunities for internships available to you all year long, through the fall, through the spring, or through the summer. This means opportunities for internships at top companies, top real estate companies, top law firms, things in the health field, things in the entertainment industry. You kind of name it, we have it. I supervise a few students on campus. I had one student, she had an internship with Apple TV. She also had another internship with a startup company out in Santa Monica Beach. One of my other students, she did a remote internship with Ticketmaster, while also having something on the side with some company out in downtown Los Angeles. So when we think about, Los Angeles and coming to school in Los Angeles, yes, we know all of the fun stuff that comes with living in LA, but it's also important to think about the professional development opportunities. And we think about the other opportunities coming to Los Angeles in the next couple of years. We have the World Cup coming to Los Angeles this summer. We have the Summer Olympics coming to Los Angeles in the next couple of years. Those are going to be really unique opportunities for our students to get some exposure, maybe even some career opportunities in some of those fields. Like I know for the Summer Olympics, the at USC, our Annenberg School of Communication Media Center is going to serve as the Summer Olympics media headquarters. So I'm sure that's going to create some opportunities, some great opportunities for our students, in those next coming years. And then we're a vibrant campus. USC is very much a 24/7 kind of place. We're primarily a residential college. Housing is guaranteed for your first 2 years at USC. There is always something to do at USC. It is one of those places where you can like never be bored. There's always some sort of event, there's always some sort of game, there's always some sort of concert, some guest speaker series, movie screening. There's always something happening. And students really love to be involved at USC. We have over 1,000 student clubs and organizations. These can be student government, pre-professional organizations, faith-based organizations, community service oriented. You kind of name it. There's tons and tons of different ways for students to get involved at USC. And then we are a Division I school. Athletic history is a big part of the USC student experience. We are a Division I school. We are out of the Big Ten Conference. Um, Women's basketball, men's football, and currently men's baseball are our top programs at USC. But no matter the time of year, everybody loves their USC football. That is going to be one of the going to a USC football game is going to want to be was one of the peak USC hallmark sort of experiences. It's the tailgating on campus. It's the connecting with reconnecting with fellow alum, and going to watch the USC Trojans play football. We also host arts and humanities events through the Visions and Voices program. So this is bringing like guest speakers to campus. We had, I want to say like a month ago, John Mayer was on campus and he led a master class that was free for students, faculty, and staff to attend. And like during this session, he played a song with a student from the USC Thornton School of Music. Around the same time, I'm not sure if anyone has seen the show The Pit or they are fans of the show The Pit. But USC hosted a symposium around the intersection of arts and wellness and health. And at this symposium, Noah Wiley, or AKA Dr. Robbie in the show, he was a guest speaker at this symposium. So just kind of being at USC, we're able to attract and bring in all of these like really fun, really great events for our students to enjoy. And then you get to be part of the Trojan family. Now, this is what we refer to as our alumni network. Um, Something that I believe that sets USC apart from a lot of other schools is going to be that Trojan family. It is. I've heard stories from friends, from coworkers who've told me that a fellow alumni was willing to go above and beyond to either like get them an interview somewhere, to connect them with someone, or help them get to that next stage in life, simply based off the fact that they were a fellow Trojan, right? Didn't have to be the first time they were meeting them or the 10th or 20th time they were meeting them, right? The fact that they were a part of this Trojan family, the fact that they went to USC or graduated from USC was more than enough for them to want to tap into their professional network to help their fellow Trojan out. So when we think about our college experience, I guess let's think about what the next 4 years could look like, but let's also think about how can an alumni network, how can a school help me 5, 10, 15, 20 years down the line? That's kind of like in general about USC, but I really want to talk more about the admissions process. So here is our application philosophy, and what I want you all to take away from that is that we operate with what's called holistic review admission. Now, holistic review admission, essentially what it means is we are evaluating the students' academic qualities as well as their personal qualities as well. There is no one part of the application that is used to make an admission decision. It means we're not simply making a decision off a test score, or we're not making admission decisions based off a GPA or some sort of, index calculation. We're really trying to learn about you as a person, considering, context throughout the process of your lived experiences, where you come from, and the opportunities, you have resources available to you. It is very much a hard, complex process, and it's very much a human process. And we make sure that we are reading, every application, and that we are reading, everything that you submit in your application, so that we can do our best to learn about you as a person, because we know there's a lot more to you than simply a high school transcript or an SAT or ACT test. Here is some info, so some quick facts about our fall 25 class. So these are the current first year students at USC. So when these current first year students applied, we had that was a record year for us, 83,500 applications. Now, of those total applications, we admitted 9,200, and 3,650 of those students enrolled. About 40% of those students were from California, 20% were international, so they came from abroad outside the United States, and 28% were from historically underrepresented populations, and then another 20% of those were the first in their family, first generation to attend college. You'll also see that we have some transfer numbers up there. USC, we are unique in that, being that we are a large private research university, we still bring in a large number of transfer students every year. Students can transfer after 1 or 2 years at another from another college or university. We had just a little over 10,000 transfer applicants, had 2,850 admitted, and 155 of those students enrolled. So just know that there's not one way to come to USC. A lot of our students, yes, they're going to come from that first year application process, but we do still bring in a good chunk of students from that transfer process as well. I want to talk about some important dates and deadlines, and then in the next couple of slides, we're going to get into the common application and kind of like what we look for competitive students. So we have 3 types of application plans. So we have an early decision and an early action plan. The deadline for both of those is going to be November 1st. Now you may be wondering, you're like, Ruben, what is the difference between early decision and early action? They have similarities, but they do have some differences. Under both plans, you do apply early. You apply by November 1st, and you will get your admission decision earlier as well. The difference is, though, is under the early decision plan, it's a restrictive and it is a binding plan, meaning you can only apply to one university under the early decision plan, under an early plan, and it's binding, meaning that if you are offered admission under that early decision plan, you are committed to attending that school in the fall. Early action, however, it's non-binding and non-restrictive, meaning that you can apply to other schools under an early plan as well, giving you that flexibility to apply to multiple schools early. And it's non-binding, meaning if you're admitted, you have the option to accept or decline that offer of admission. Pick the plan that is best for you. We don't have a preference, but just note that under both plans, you will be considered for a merit scholarship. So if you want to be considered for a merit scholarship for USC, you have to apply either early action or early decision. No additional essay, nothing extra you have to do. Now, if you or your child is interested in a major that requires a portfolio submission or an audition, essentially a major in the performing arts, those students can only apply under the regular decision plan. Their deadline is December 1st. Don't worry, they will still be considered for their own merit scholarships as well. We also have our regular decision deadline, our final deadline, January 10th for all other majors. And then, as I mentioned, we have our transfer option as well. That deadline is February 15th. Here is a timeline of the USC admission process. So, in mid-December, those students who applied early decision will receive an admission notification, and those students who applied early action will get their admission notification. If a student is not offered admission during either one of those two notifications, they will have the option to have their application rolled over to be considered for regular decision plan. So nobody's getting denied in the early rounds. If not offered admission, we will just consider them in the RD round. Mid-February is when scholarship finalists are notified. So those students will be notified if they were selected to proceed to the next stage of the scholarship process. And then April 1st is when everybody will have an admission decision. We admitted our next cohort of students just a little over a week ago. And those students will have until May 1st, which is going to be the National Candidate Reply date for you as well. That's essentially letting us know your plans to enroll at USC if you're going to accept or decline that offer of admission. But how to apply? What do we look for? What makes a student stand out in the application process? Well, when you apply, you're going to be applying through the Common Application. USC is only available on the Common Application. When you select USC as one of the schools that you want to apply to, you'll be asked two questions first. One, what round do you want to apply? Early decision, early action, regular decision? And then you'll be asked to select a first and second choice major. At USC, all of our majors are direct entry, meaning if you're applying for a communications major, or if you're applying for chemical engineering, or if you're applying for business, you're applying to be admitted directly to that major. We don't have pre-business, we don't have pre-engineering or anything like that. Students are applying directly for their major and they are admitted directly for the major they applied to. You do have the option of listing a second choice major. You don't have to list a second choice major, it's entirely up to you. If you're a student who has interest in multiple majors or unsure of what major you'd like to apply to, my recommendation is to pick the major that you're interested most now, and just know that when you come to USC, we encourage students to explore whatever academic interests you have, to explore new interests, and changing your major is something that you can do down the line. But first, the academic record, the academic profile of holistic review. Now, what USC expects is strong academic preparedness from our applicants. Now, this is where context really starts coming into play because we expect students to be academically prepared and we expect students to pursue a rigorous academic curriculum. Now, a rigorous academic curriculum could mean something different from one school to another school to another school. It could mean taking AP classes. It could mean taking IB classes, dual enrollment, honors, or whatever curriculum that school offers. We expect students to challenge themselves from 9th through 12th grade academically in a rigorous curriculum. I'm not saying your child or you, the student, should be taking 8 AP classes every semester because that's just kind of way too much and you just burn yourself out. But what I'm saying is you should be challenging yourself throughout high school, adding rigor when you can, and taking primarily academically based courses. Um, when we get a transcript, we're not simply looking at the bottom of the transcript to see what your GPA is. We're looking to see what kinds of classes did you take starting in ninth grade. We're going to take note of any academic trends. Maybe you've been a stellar student all throughout high school, but maybe in 10th grade things got a little rough. You hit a rough patch in 10th grade, but maybe there was something in your life happening. There's something impacting your academic work. You can share this information in the common application. You could write about it as part of your essay. You can share it in the additional information section. You can have your counselor write about this in your letter or recommendation. This is where that context piece really starts coming out. You want to make sure that you tell us, important things that were impacting you, or maybe feel like things that you feel like you need to shed more light on as well. Um, we'll also take note of academic preparedness for major. An example is if I'm a student interested in engineering, I should probably take the highest level math available to me at my high school. So if that highest level of math available to my high school is AP Calc AB, and I'm going to be a senior next year, I should take that AP Calc AB class and not take, some other elective, right? Or if I'm interested in the STEM field, a science major, I should look to take the highest level of math available to me at my high school. Test scores, SAT or ACT, USC is a test optional school. I can say that 100 times, and there's always going to be someone asking, like, is USC really test optional? And I get where that's coming from, and I can just kind of speak on behalf of USC is that we are truly a test optional school. We admitted a lot of amazing students who submitted test scores. We admitted a lot of amazing students who chose not to submit test scores. Um, if there is a test that you took and there's a score that you are proud of and you want to submit that as part of your application, you have every right and you should feel free to do so. But it is not a requirement that students submit test scores, right? We are a test optional school. But remember, we're not test blind. So if you are choosing to submit a test score, you are saying, "Hey, USC, please consider this test score as part of my process, as part of my admission decision." But being optional, again, the USC, we're an optional school. You don't have to submit them. If you don't submit them, it's totally fine. I'm gonna learn a lot about your academic preparedness and readiness through your work from high school. Now that's just the academic profile side, right? This next part is what I is my favorite part of the application process because this is where I'm gonna learn about you as a person. I could only learn so much from looking at a transcript and looking at an SAT or ACT test score. When you apply through the Common Application, one of the first things you'll be asked to fill out is your activities, your things that you're involved in, your extracurricular activities. You can list only up to 10 things on the Common Application of your activities. We don't have a prescribed list of activities we expect students to be involved in. We're not even looking for leadership roles. We're more so looking for leadership quality and leadership potential. Now, your activities can be anything that you're involved in. It could be something you do at school, if it's a club, if it's student government, or if you play a sport. But it could also be you being involved in your church. It could be you being involved in Boy Scouts or Girl Scouts, having a part-time job, doing research, or if you have significant family responsibilities, you can list these things as well. The Common Application also lets you write just kind of a brief description of what your activity is and kind of what kind of involvement you have related to that activity. My advice for you all is to not really use that to write what that activity is, but more tell me really briefly what impact you've had in that activity, or what have you gained from that experience. Um, let's say you work at Target. You have a part-time job at Target. I don't need an explanation of what Target is. I go for one thing, I leave with a cart full of things, right? But maybe if you have a part-time job to help contribute to family income, right? Or maybe you're saving up for college, that is context that you should feel empowered to share about in that activity section. The next part is going to be your essay. This is going to be your chance to tell me your story, to tell me who you are, and why it's important. Students always ask me, they're like, Ruben, what are you interested in? Because I want to tailor my essay topic to your interests. I am interested in learning about you as a person. You could write about something that highlights your curiosity, creativity, your interest in research, something that highlights an experience you've gone through, a challenge you've overcome, a dream you have, a goal, whatever it is. I want to come away reading an essay, feel like I've learned something about you as a person. And what makes an essay like a good essay is not always necessarily the topic that they're writing about, but it's how they write about the topic, how they reflect on that experience, and how they tie it into who they are now, and really hitting on the why it's irrelevant, why it's important for us, the reader, the admissions counselor, to know. Your why USC, your short answer is going to ask, why are you interested in studying your intended major at USC? I'm sure you can study psychology or business or engineering at a lot of other schools, but why USC? What are your academic goals, right? What are your academic dreams? How can we help you accomplish those things? We don't expect you to know exactly what you want to do now, but I think you have an idea of maybe what you'd like to accomplish in the future. How can we help you get there? What we're really trying to do is assess your fit for USC, but also is USC going to be a good fit for you as well? Um, Quick takes, that's just like, what's your favorite snack? Describe yourself in 3 words. Very quick, short answer responses. A fun thing we have in the application that you shouldn't spend too much time on. And then department supplements. This is going to be if your major requires additional short answer responses. They may require auditions or portfolio submissions. You'll see this notification in Common App saying that you have to do some additional things. And then we'll ask for one letter of recommendation. Letters of recommendation are important because they give me the opportunity to learn about you further from someone who knows you in an academic setting. They could shed light on additional context to your academic records, maybe to who you are as a student. They can really highlight your strengths, how you work with your peers, the impact you have on the school community. These are your hype people, right? These are the people who really tell us all the amazing things about you in that academic setting. So my advice is to pick a counselor or a teacher who knows you, right? They should probably kind of like you because they're going to hype you up to us. Um, and it doesn't have to be a teacher who's from your intended major, right? So if you're applying to be a math major, it doesn't have to come from a math teacher, but it should come from a teacher who could speak really well about you, and really tell us about who you are as a person. That secondary school report, you don't need to worry about that. That comes from your school counselor. This gives me that contextual information about your school, grading scale, a grade distribution, that contextual information that I'll need to know about your school when reviewing your application. International applicants, I'll touch on this quick. They need a visa. I'm sorry, they need a financial statement just to cover 1 year cost of attendance and English language proficiency exam scores. These will come up in the student's applicant portal if we have identified them to be international students. But I want to talk about financial aid. I know cost is going to be a factor in determining where to attend, right? Where to go to college. Um, We offer multiple types of aid for students. We have, again, that merit aid opportunity when students apply under the early plans, but we also have need-based financial aid. This includes grants, loans, work studies, and other university scholarships as well. We are a need-blind school, meaning the ability to pay is not a factor in the admissions process, and USC fully meets whatever your demonstrated need will be to attend USC. We have something called the Affordability Initiative, which states that students who are coming from family incomes of $80,000 or less will attend USC tuition free. Now, to be eligible for any sort of need-based aid, you need to submit the FAFSA and the CSS profile. The CSS profile can be found through College Board. We have a net price calculator. If by scanning that QR code, it'll take you to the USC net price calculator. You plug in your family's financial information, and it'll give you an estimate of what you can expect your cost of attendance to look like for USC. Word of advice on net price calculators: every college in America has a net price calculator on their financial aid website. So if you want to get an understanding of what the cost of attendance will look like for the specific schools you're interested in, go to their net price calculator. Again, plug in your information, and it'll give you a customized rough cost estimate of what your attendance would look like. Um, I want to go ahead and save time for questions, but if you want to get connected with anybody from USC, you could also like just hear from the student experience. You could give us a follow on Instagram. I'll also drop my email in the chat box as well. But I definitely want to like save time for questions. I know is pretty small group, but I'm sure you may have questions still. I'll go ahead and I'll stop sharing my screen. And if you have questions, feel free to unmute yourself. And we'll have time for questions. In the meantime, I'm gonna drop my email in the chat box.
Hi, this is Robin.
Hi, Robin. How's it going?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, thank you. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for coming. I just got a question. My son is going to start taking some dual enrollment classes for the summer and
Mm-hmm.
the fall. Are
Mm-hmm.
they, I know some schools accept them, some schools have limits. I don't, what is USC's process?
Yes. So USC's policy on dual enrollment, it depends. For it to be counted as college credit, it has to be separate from his high school work. So
Okay.
if the dual enrollment appears on a high school transcript, or if it's being used to satisfy high school graduation requirements,
Hmm.
that we won't count for college credit. But the fact
Okay.
that he's taking dual enrollment classes, we consider as a rigorous curriculum, right? So while it may not be able to satisfy college credit, we see that as him pursuing an additional rigorous curriculum by taking those college courses.
All right. I don't think it's going to replace anything because he's basically done with most of his high school work. So I just think it'll be just college work.
Just so he's like doing it completely separate from his high school stuff.
Correct.
Cool. And he's taking it like at the college and it's taught by professors there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then like that we could take that for college credit. We
Okay.
allow up to 32 units of work. Half of that, 16 of those units can come from dual enrollment classes. The other
Hmm.
16 can come from like AP or IB exam scores.
Okay. He's taking a couple of those too.
Oh, good, good. He's doing it all.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions from anyone? Mary, if you have another question, Robin, that's fine too.
Actually, I do with
Hmm.
the cost. And you said y'all have
Hmm.
lots of ways to, I guess, help families with the cost of it because basically we will be going across the country.
Hmm.
Um, so after he applies, gets accepted, then you receive the financial aid package or whatever, and then you just go from there.
Yes. So if accepted, that's when the students will receive that financial aid package.
Okay.
Yeah.
And with if he gets like other scholarships, how are they able to stack scholarships on top of the scholarships he gets at USC or
Yeah. So if a student gets scholarships, internal or external scholarships,
Mhm.
they'll adjust the financial aid package. But what they do as a priority is they try to reduce the amount of loans being offered.
All right.
So that's the part is to reduce the loans and then kind of go from there. But we do, yeah, the student could stack their scholarships on top of anything being offered from USC.
Okay. And what's the requirements to stay on campus? Is it just freshman year or is it freshman, sophomore or
Housing, it's not a requirement, but housing is guaranteed for those first 2 years. So
okay.
a lot of our students are going to take advantage and live on campus that first year and second year. The junior, senior year, students just live in the neighborhood.
Right.
They're walking distance away across the street from campus. So even as a first year student, he doesn't have to live on campus, but a lot of them are.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Of course. Well, I dropped my email in the chat. If you have questions or you're going to come visit LA or you want to know how to schedule a campus tour or anything, feel free to send me an email. I appreciate you all taking the time coming to today's Meet USC Info session. Thank you.
Thanks so much. Have a wonderful
Thank you.
night, everyone. Thank you.